How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sunday, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it's Wednesday here on the show, and you know what that means? Tonight is AEW Dynamite. And believe it or not, we have 5 things scheduled for the show announced already. It's practically a miracle. So we're going to talk about that here today, the preview for Dynamite. We also have the NXT TV report from last night, which we'll get into a little bit later on in the show here today. And then, of course, we have all of the news, not the least of which is, believe it or not, Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon conceivably could have died on the same day. Vince was in a major accident the day that Hulk Hogan passed away. And we're going to tell you about that here on the program. He obviously survived, but it was a pretty serious thing. So we'll tell you about that. We've also got an update from Tony Khan on the AEW Women's Tag Team titles, which I got a lot to say about that. World's End, we have a location for World's End. And Filthy Tom Lawler's joining us here today, and we are going to talk WWE Unreal. We're going to be reviewing all the WWE Unreal episodes, one at a time, every time Filthy is on the show. At least that's my plan. I got to clear that part with him. So we'll talk about that. And, of course, the NXT TV report. If you want to text us here today, 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566 at 4wonline@gmail.com. At 4wonline, Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. $10 personalized cameos at 4wonline on Cameo. At Bryan Alvarez, X and Blue Sky. Back in a moment with more Observer Live. We did, in fact, by popular demand, watch Ready to Rumble.
The champion is some fat loser.
Yeah, he's a completely talentless, no athletic ability, can't wrestle, broke bum that walked out on his wife and kid.
But he was
he's
over.
The world champion.
He
and
was.
In the movie, the
well, yeah, but
storyline
that's a
is-
microcosm of wrestling, sadly.
Yes.
He feels so bad about drinking this entire slushy that cost $1.26, and he sticks his finger in his asshole and walks up to the clerk.
Lance is dying. How could the movie be so bad?
I'm not going to fault the man for that, of all the things in the movie.
I thought for sure you were going to say you'd done this before.
There's a reason I'm not going to fault the man for that.
I just think with all the porta potties and farting in this, that I think Vince McMahon was a secret producer on this film. Had to have been.
So then we get the Shermanator. He's playing a WCW arcade game. He uses some internet sleuthing to find the personal information of Jimmy King.
He's searching the internet. Gonna find out anything on here. This movie was so antiquated. Every Nitro Girl is in a Nitro Girl outfit, except for this girl. They had her
want
dance
her
in something
to stand
totally
out,
different.
Brian, like the captain.
So we're so stupid. I got it.
Captain
Yes,
Stabbin.
if you're watching this film, you're that stupid. I'm sorry.
But I was also insulted by the fact they hired Michael Buffer to announce the Royal Bash, the fake-ass Royal Bash.
$24 million budget.
Wow.
And probably $500,000 of that went to Michael Buffer. It made 12. You know, we should mention this cage match is the triple-decker Cage of Doom. Everybody buried it. It was horrible. Everybody hated it. And so they decided to make a movie. And what is the final battle? It's another goddamn triple-decker cage match. This would be like in 2010 if like TNA made a movie and the final match was a reverse battle royal.
They throw powder in someone's face, DDP's, I think, or somebody's, and the dude just looks and goes, "It doesn't work." It's like, of course, because wrestling's fake and stupid.
Should we just end it there? What a soundbite. There has never been a movie I have watched in my entire life which has made me hate myself more.
Wow.
I'm ashamed that I'm even in the place at 41 years old where I would end up reviewing this movie for money. I would have thought I would have made it out of here by now. You know what I mean? I'm done.
Well, everyone, hopefully we can do this again someday. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom Lawler's joining us here today. What's up, Tom?
Not too much, Brian. What's going on with you?
Any good news?
No good news.
That's always great.
You ask me every time I'm on, and I have no problem giving people an update when there is one. But, sometimes these things move a little slowly.
Well,
you want me to get into the particulars? Okay.
Here's the thing.
I couldn't get pre-approved for surgery yet because my heart rate was too low.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Well, we just sometimes actually discuss things off air, and I don't know necessarily what you want to say on air or not, so I just generally say, anything going on? Any update? You know what I mean?
You prod me?
It's funny. I'm looking at your haircut, and I actually considered doing that to my head today. It is so hot lately. You may see me later today with no hair.
It just got to be, it's 110 degrees here or something.
It's ridiculous.
It just got to be too much. Unbearable.
It's hotter in Vegas, but like in this actual studio here, it's a good 20 degrees hotter than it is outside at all times, even with the air conditioning on. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about today, like more than we can probably cover. So I want to at least start with this. Vince McMahon recently involved in a car wreck, although no one was injured. TMZ reports it was a bad accident. Happened in Connecticut Thursday. Crash reports saying it started with McMahon's Bentley ramming into the back of a BMW, a third car. Ford Fusion also ended up being involved. Debris from the accident flew into the other lane of the highway. The three drivers were wearing their seatbelts and not sustain injuries. All cars needed to be towed. McMahon's Bentley was traveling northbound on Route 15. It rammed into the back of the 2023 BMW, collided with a median wooden beam guardrail. Debris from the collision flew into the left side of the two-lane highway, and a third vehicle, a Ford Fusion, ran into it. The force of the impact was so severe, the airbags were deployed on McMahon's Bentley and the BMW. The report stated all three drivers were wearing their seatbelts. All three cars needed to be towed from the scene. 30 feet of damage. The woman who was hit by the car said she had been experiencing a stiff neck. This is Barbara Duran, and had undergone a full battery of tests. She said, "I'm lucky to have survived a horrific crash on the way to catch the ferry at Martha's Vineyard. Both cars totaled. Vince McMahon, former chair of WWE, hit me going 80 to 90 miles an hour as I drove in the right lane of the narrow Merritt Highway. I and the dog are mostly fine. Lucky to have kept control of the car, more or less. I shot off the road, catapulted over 100 yards. An unmarked state trooper had been following him as he sped in and out of cars down the highway and had just turned his lights on to pull McMahon over, but he was not in time. Both front wheels of McMahon's Bentley were sheared off, airbags deployed, probably saving him from significant injury. Trooper told me afterwards McMahon saw me last minute and swerved, smashing into my left rear, but that if he had hit me full on, there might have been a very different ending for me." So this was the morning that Hulk Hogan passed away. So conceivably, Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan could have died on the same day if this accident would have gone a little bit differently. So I think this is actually the second time he's crashed that car. So,
well, there's no way that's the second time he crashed that car.
Well, maybe not that car, but
based on, maybe, I guess, but did you see the photos of this car? Totaled.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you shouldn't be weaving in and out of traffic
No.
at 80 to 90 miles per hour.
No.
Up in those New England roads. I mean, I don't know if you've ever really been around New England that much, Brian, but, it's like the oldest settled part of the country in most ways, and the roads are old. They're terrible. There's bad weather up there all the time. So not the best driving conditions, regardless of if it's nice out or not. So
not good.
What the hell is this guy doing?
I don't know. I mean, this is how many times have, we got to talk about Connor, because it's like one thing after another. Well, here we are with Vince. Just one thing after another. All right, tonight is Dynamite, and astoundingly, we have 5 things announced for the show, which I can't remember the last time we had 5 things announced for Dynamite when it wasn't like a special show, where they do a special name for it. We got Hangman Page, Jon Moxley, rematch for the AEW World Title, pay-per-view main event rematch with everybody banned from ringside. We have a tag team title eliminator tournament with the Young Bucks and the Outrunners, which I fully expect the Outrunners to win because, as we talked about several times, actually, when they did that match with the Young Bucks versus Swerve and Ospreay, the stipulations were Young Bucks were putting their EVP titles on the line, and Ospreay and Swerve were putting a shot at the world title over the next year on the line. And I had all these, let's just, Ospreay and Swerve, they don't need a challenge for the title. Hangman's your guy for now. They can be a team. There's like a million things. Nothing goes fast in AEW. You can easily not have these two challenge for a year. Ospreay can still headline Wembley next year for the title. But, they didn't have a finish. And by they, I mean Tony, because he's the guy in charge. When they announced those stips, he hadn't decided who was winning yet. He didn't decide until, the day before who was going over. And the Young Bucks ended up losing. And, the day of the show, I was just kind of I wouldn't have made that call. But ever since, with them no longer being EVPs, and now they're poor, and now they have no power, and now they go for the EVP trigger, and they just freeze because they realize it's been excellent so far. So I'm hoping that something involving that plays into the finish of this match, and the Outrunners get a big win in a great match. So I'm very bullish on this one. We got Toni Storm and Alex Windsor versus Athena and Billy Starks, which if you saw the Athena-Alex Windsor match on Collision, you're adding Toni Storm to the match and Billy's in there. This should be a very good match. Ricochet and Mark Briscoe should be quite great, and there will be an appearance by MJF. So that looks like a good show. That looks like a good show here tonight. And then, it's not all roses. Tony did an interview on Wrestle Friends is the name of the podcast. Wrestle Friends. And he admitted, and I guess this doesn't mean much because the guy likes belts, but he has created women's tag team titles. The belts have been created. They exist. But he stated, I'm not going to do anything with them right now because too many people are injured.
Well, they don't have enough singles competitors for the ROH Women's Pure title tournament. So I'm not quite sure how they would get enough competitors for the tag title tournament.
Well, hold on a second. First off, this guy put up brackets last week for a men's tag team tournament that had no teams in it. There were 2 teams in the tournament. And ultimately, we later found out there's 8 teams, okay? There's got to be 8 female teams. If it's okay if Mercedes is on a team and Tony's on a team and whatever, you've got to have 16 women on this roster, number one. And number 2, and this to me is the other thing, okay? This is actually a much bigger deal. If you can't come up with 16 women, because so many women are injured on your roster, I think that is a discussion that needs to be had. What's going on? Like, why is everybody hurt all the time? I realize there's like a lot of injuries in every wrestling promotion, but like, not so many injuries you can't even run a tournament. That's a lot of people hurt right now. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. We all went to the AEW WrestleDream pay-per-view in the Tacoma Dome. What a dump.
They've remodeled in the last 5 years.
I don't want to watch a show in the Tacoma Dome. I'm over that part of my life.
So this is all about
I
you,
want
okay.
It is all about me. It's my show.
Yep.
Sick of these crappy dumps.
Rico. Yes. Rico Constantino.
Mm-hmm.
When Rico Constantino showed up on the screen, I almost fainted.
If you would have slapped me with a bass, I would have been less surprised.
A bass,
Yeah.
you say?
Excuse me?
You heard me.
Now, you mean the fish
Yes.
or like a bass, the instrument?
No, a bass.
Well, he would have said a bass if he meant a bass.
Shibata hooks a rear naked choke, and Shibata's shoulders were down, and the referee counted 3.
I don't care what happened in Florida in 1973.
That is an Eddie Graham babyface finish when he wanted a heel to get a fluke win.
The crowd hated it.
Hated it.
You know, people are upset that Adam Cole's back as a babyface or whatever.
Why?
But, dude, he's been gone for a year. So they obviously want to do Adam Cole and MJF. MJF is a heel. So obviously Adam Cole is coming back as a babyface.
Yes. Will Ospreay, Takeshita, and Ricochet. My rating for this match was 1 zillion stars. I believe this may be my new favorite three-way ever. John Moxley versus Bryan Danielson.
You have
Not
to
a
say it in
fun
such a
match.
sad way.
Yes! It was sad. It was a sad match. That's it, before we even get to the post-match. The whole thing, start to finish, was sad. It was meant to bum you, the fans, out.
It worked.
It worked. It elicited emotions, which is what art is supposed to do.
It was very much like The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels when Undertaker retired him, and like that's exactly what happened, is everyone just slowly stood up and quietly, sadly walked out of the building that night.
There was one gentleman that was walking by us, and he was dripping in Bryan Danielson's merchandise. And he was wailing, and he cried, forget my language, I can't believe they punked out my favorite wrestler like a bitch. And he was so
Wow.
upset.
And we go into that press conference. All I got to say about Don Callis is, man, I can't help but notice he's got a big mouth when he's got Takeshita right next to him, doesn't he?
That was a scintillating question. And I think maybe after that, we're finally, the Bryan and Vinny show might actually just be the Bryan show. That was producer Rob level stuff right there. Need to work on your game a little bit. Okay. Next.
Rob's so excited and happy now. He texted me today. So it looks like I'm feuding with Don Callis. Ha ha. That's what he texted me.
That's not the way I took it at all. I looked at his wiener, and now he's mad at me. Duh.
All right, I might have missed one or two here, okay? But I did a quick look during the break, and this is what I can tell you, okay? Excluding Mother Wayne, okay, who on the AEW website I guess is listed as an in-ring competitor. Excluding her, we have 38 women. This is not counting like local talent. 38 women, okay? 5 are known to be hurt. 1 is a known visa issue, and we will say 1 is Britt Baker, okay? There are at least 30 available women right now who are not injured that you could throw into an 8-person tournament, and you would still have 14 women left over. So, I don't know what he's doing. That's what he's
Brian, how many teams can you name in the women's division? I could probably get 3, 4, maybe.
Well, it doesn't matter.
I mean,
you just put them together.
I understand that. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
I think my point is, do we need these titles overall?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Teams?
Listen,
I understand for, the sake of having equal titles, opportunities for the men and the women.
but here's the thing, okay? I think we do need women's tag team titles, but we don't need a lot of these other titles. We really don't need a TBS and a TNT and a Ring of Honor and a Ring of Honor Pure and a Ring of Honor Women's Television.
There's also a Ring of Honor interim women's television champion.
There's like 6 singles titles. We don't need that many, but it would be nice if we had women's tag team titles. You know, if you've got a roster of 38 women, okay, fine. 38 women, you can have a world title and a secondary title, and then you should have some tag titles. You don't need, I don't know, whatever, who cares? Someday there will be women's tag team champions when I guess there's 80 women available for this tournament.
It'll be the Triangle of Madness because that's the only team I can name.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about Unreal. So here's my plan, Tom, and you can change it if you want to. I think that every time you and me are on the show together, we just review a new one. I don't want to review like 6 at one time or whatever. We're on together today. We're going to review episode 1. The next time we're on together, we'll review episode 2. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's fine. I just want to let you know, as in most cases in life, I am one step ahead of you. I have watched episode 2.
How is
already.
episode 2 compared to 1? Because Lasting here says I turned off Unreal after episode 2.
I mean, they're both of the cut from the same cloth, of the same ilk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of enjoy watching the show, to be honest. It's not something like I'm watching and I'm like, this sucks, I hate watching this. It's interesting to see what they get through, obviously, all the channels before it reaches the public. And to me, that's kind of as interesting as, the truthfulness of it, I guess. What they actually show us in comparison to the real events.
I'll say this about the show, and then we can talk more if you want to. So, I mean, they do pull back the curtain on some things. Like, there's a scene backstage where Rhea Ripley is literally going over her match in her head, move for move, which actually was one of my favorite things on the show because she's like, Riptide, kick out, blah, blah. She's going through all of this, and Damian Priest is calmly standing there listening to her, and then there's a pause, and he goes, it's a lot of stuff. I laughed.
That is something that has happened if you've been in wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
You have seen this happen backstage at every wrestling show.
Yes.
Someone pantomiming exactly what's going to happen in the match to someone who's not even wrestling in that match.
Yes. And I am usually Damian Priest going, that's a lot of stuff. But yes, so, they'll go behind the curtain for that. And, what I did like, all things aside, whether it's real or fake or whatever, I did like some of the personality. Like, I thought they did a great job with Rhea, in her house and talking about, before they hit my music, I'm just a mess. I'm just a wreck. I can't even think. And they have footage of her backstage, and she looks like just out of her mind. But then, man, they hit that music, and she's on. And I liked the personality profiles. It ranged. I want to read this quote from the director, okay? And it'll play into what I'm talking about here. This Chris Weaver, okay? When he asked about how he felt regarding the show and how real it ended up being, he said, I don't know, but my impression was we're getting the authentic side of these people. Listen, there's a lot of cameras around there. They're shooting. WWE has different groups shooting. We're shooting. There's the network cameras for the broadcast. And the wrestlers, he said, would often say, am I supposed to be in character? And we would say, no, this is NFL films for the Netflix show. And they go, got it. And so a lot of them would ask and want to be sure. And that was another indicator to me that we're seeing Phil Brooks or, whatever their real names are in each case. But I think we got the most authentic side of a lot of these people. Brother, don't be a mark. God, are you freaking kidding me? I'll say this, okay? maybe with some of the younger wrestlers, like a Rhea Ripley, okay? Maybe with some of the younger wrestlers, when they were told, just be real, this is, maybe some of the younger wrestlers were more real. But are you kidding me? You're telling me, hey, Phil, be the real Phil Brooks here. Don't be CM Punk. You think guy? Are you kidding me?
What's your name? Can you introduce yourself? I'm Cookie Monster, Black Phillip.
Anybody who broke into this business, God, what would you say? Before, maybe 2010? I mean, maybe you could push it a little further. I don't believe for 1 second anybody that broke into this business before 2010, if you tell them be the real you when the cameras are on, there is no chance. Not a single chance whatsoever. The people I do feel were real. Actually, the most real person on the show, and I felt bad for this guy. And a lot of people have gotten on Bruce Pritchard, but I don't really actually blame Bruce for this.
Bruce did nothing.
No, poor Abyss is the agent for Seth Rollins and CM Punk on the Netflix debut, okay? And the story is that, Bruce Pritchard goes, even though this is Netflix and everybody thinks we have unlimited time, we don't. There is a cutoff here, okay? And so he wants everyone to hit their time cues. And I did see people, on the internet that are like, oh man, what's Bruce talking about? There is no hard out. It's Netflix. You could go all night if you wanted. Listen, guys. If you want to get mad at Bruce for whatever you can, but there is supposed to be a hard out for Netflix.
Does somebody think Bruce
I don't know
Pritchard
why
is in control of Netflix?
But the point is, I don't know why. I don't care, but there is, okay? Whatever you want to say. So anyway, poor Chris Park, Abyss, is the agent for this match. And these two dudes are going long. And as soon as they start going long, Abyss is petrified. And he's trying to tell him to hurry up, and he's trying to tell him what to cut, but at the same time he's like, I'm sorry, Bruce. I'm sorry. They're cutting out the Anaconda Vice. Yeah. He's thinking it's gonna get fired on the spot. And Bruce isn't actually even being really, he's just nothing we can do about it, It's
yeah.
He's it's not like, he's clearly not happy, but it's not like he's mad at Abyss. But he's not going to say anything to the guys either. You can just tell he's just he's quietly stewing because they can't just get this thing done. But man, Chris Park is I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. They're going to the finish right now, sir. And he's petrified. And then
he turned into Joseph Park.
Oh yeah. And then when it's over, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. We tried to cut as much as we could, and Bruce's like, dude, it's okay. There's nothing we can do about it. But and then he turns to Regal and he's like, yeah, I'm sorry. And Regal goes, it's not your fault, dude. You did your best. Just be happy with what you did. And Chris Park is like, I am. But you could see he's petrified. And I'm like, is this every day of this poor guy's life? Oh my God, I couldn't do this. But I felt so bad for him because he was so worried, and it's not his fault. He's so trying to do his best, and I don't know, man. It was that was a real moment. That was kind of sad to watch. That he was just so worried when he was doing his best, dude. And if you want to get mad at somebody, you can get mad at Punk and Seth Rollins. They're the ones that went long. But you know how it is. No one's going to go yell at Punk for going long or Seth Rollins or whatever. It's just everybody is all...
Well, and the other thing is, it's going to go up the chain of command, right? It's not going to stop. If Abyss gets yelled at, Bruce Pritchard's going to get yelled at. It's going up, you know what I mean? Of course. So Bruce has to deal with that as well.
Yeah. But people are mad at Bruce for how he was responding to Chris.
He was he
wasn't responding at all. What do you want the guy to do? He was trying to say, don't worry about it. Just do your best. It's not your fault.
It was overproduced. It was over everything. Great match.
Actually, Brandon makes a good point here. Abyss was acting like Vince was in charge. I mean, there are a lot of people that still have PTSD. Fans and, people in the company alike. That was very much he was afraid Vince was just going to storm in and start screaming or something like that. And I had someone else say that, that's how the guy is. He's always worried. He's always scared. But there you go. So all the best to that guy. He's a nice guy. I think he was actually I seem to recall like years ago when you had Abyss and Joe Park, and they were doing that thing on Impact. I think we actually got him on the show to like, I can't remember what it was, but just a super nice guy, the nicest guy on earth. And I felt bad for him watching this show. I got one other thing I got to say after the break. Observer Live. If you love this show, you should consider signing up at WrestlingObserver.com. WrestlingObserver.com has every show that we have ever done. Over 15,000 podcasts in the archives, dating back to 2005. Searchable by show, searchable by year. Perhaps the first show you ever watched was 2008 WrestleMania? Well, you can head into the archives and you can find the podcast we did, all built around the 2008 WrestleMania. Every major show, whether it be WWE, AEW, we covered it all. 15,000 archived shows at WrestlingObserver.com. Also, when you subscribe, you get full access to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. There's a new Observer every Friday. And on top of that, we have thousands and thousands of archived issues of the Observer dating back to 1991. So again, WrestleMania 2008. Go to the archives, search WrestleMania 2008, read all of the issues surrounding that show. Of course, Wrestling Observer newsletter, 40,000 words of news and information on pro wrestling and mixed martial arts every single week. New issue comes out every Friday. New back issue comes out every Monday. You also get the discussion board. One of the best discussion boards on the internet. It's members only. If you're going to troll, well, you got to pay to troll, and there aren't too many of those. And if you cause too much trouble, you're out of there. So if you want a great place to discuss professional wrestling, it is the board. Also available as a subscriber at WrestlingObserver.com. The whole package, all of the new shows, all of the archived shows, all of the new issues of The Observer, all of the archived editions of the newsletter, all of the past episodes of Wrestling Observer Radio, Wrestling Observer Live, The Bryan and Vinny Show, Figure 4 Daily, Filthy 4 Daily, The Board, all of it, just $14.99 per month. The full shebang, and you can save a lot of money getting an annual subscription. A full year, you basically get 2 months free. So check it out, WrestlingObserver.com, everything you'll ever need as a fan of professional wrestling. Check it out today, F4WOnline.com. So that Abyss thing, I mean, whatever you say about the show, that was 100% legit, okay? But I got to bring this up because I got a lot of feedback about this. So yesterday we were talking about how there was a shot of a board backstage with the WrestleMania lineup as of Raw, what they had planned for WrestleMania, okay? And I can't say this 100%, okay? I can't say this 100%. But I was sort of told, brother, don't be a mark. Like, you're seeing on that show what they want you to see for this story that they are telling. In other words, very, very skeptical that this was actually the full planned lineup for WrestleMania. And one of the things that was pointed out was, you know, this alleged WrestleMania lineup, I mean, Asuka's name is on it. And were like, nobody was making plans for Asuka in January. They didn't know when she was going to be back. They didn't know how long she was going to be gone. Her name on there is a red flag. So anyway, if you watched the show, I mean, it was very clear. I mean, whether that lineup is legit or not, it was very clear. Like, one way or the other, you saw what they wanted you to see in every single moment on that show. And, if you want a little bit of inside information, if you want, like, if for some reason you don't know what a gorilla position is, if you don't know this or that, I mean, there is some authenticity on the show. But, it's sometimes few and far between. But I liked the first episode overall. I enjoyed it. Anything else you want to say about it?
No, second episode's much of the same. It'll be interesting to see what kind of narratives they try to craft coming out of this show, if they try to use it, intertwined with the programming on SmackDown and Raw. I know there's one of the episodes focuses, I believe, on Charlotte and her comeback, and it's interesting with how she's been used as a babyface recently after her initial comeback kind of being booed by the fans, and I wonder if they'll kind of incorporate that into what we see on the main programs.
Well, we shall see. I have been told, this is not like 100%, but it looks like there's going to be probably another season, and the second season obviously would cover WrestleMania, maybe even through like the final match for John Cena. It'll go at least through SummerSlam, and then maybe they'll do some stuff leading to Cena's final match. But it does look like there is another season that is likely being in the works, and there's a lot of stuff always being filmed. What'd you think of NXT?
I was so confused by a couple of the segments, but I thought that the action is a lot better than it has been in recent weeks. Loved that Javon and Wes Lee match. Interested to see what happens now with Tony D.
Bro, listen, I gotta say something about that, okay? All everybody ever does is tell me how I don't know anything about anything, and I'm not up to this or that, or I don't watch blah, blah, blah. How has nobody mentioned that the end of that show was a spoof of the final episode of The Sopranos? Nobody!
Brian.
Yes.
I think that Tony D segment at the end of NXT was a spoof on the end of The Sopranos.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I actually watched that scene earlier before the show. Because
it's not exactly the same, but it's very similar.
I hope it's a prelude to Tony D just moving up to the main roster. I mean, I don't know what else you do with him in NXT. I mean, I guess you could put him at the top of the card and eventually move the title to him. But it seems as if this storyline with the family is done, even though Luca Crucifino's hanging around upset by it still.
I mean, honestly, he should never come back to NXT after that ending. That should be it. By the way, this is a totally unrelated thing, but we were reviewing the Mid-South show, and they're doing a storyline where Bill Watts has banned usage of steel chairs and all of this other stuff, and if you use one, you get fined $10,000. So Jim Cornette and his heel crew are finding like, oh, he hit him with a pie pan or something like that. He's circumventing the rules or whatever. No, the racket's banned, but he's using whatever else. So on the show this week, the Pretty Young Things, they do a run-in, and I think it's Coco grabs a steel chair, and he uses a steel chair, which is an illegal. It's on the list of banned items, and it's like a $10,000 fine. So, of course, Jim Cornette's crew is furious, and Jim Cornette demands he come out and pay out right now. And, Jim Ross is the announcer, but he's not like the authority figure. So Jim Ross calls the Pretty Young Things to the ring, and he's like, listen, I don't make the rules, but it is true. You used an illegal object on the ban list, and it's supposed to be a $10,000 fine, or you have to leave this territory. And the Pretty Young Things, who are baby faces, they're like, hold on, first off, we don't have $10,000. Only the winners get paid, which was the funniest thing I've ever heard. This is a baby faces. We don't have $10,000, and we ain't paying it anyway. And they're going on, and they're getting mad at Jim Ross, and Jim's like, don't kill the messenger. I'm just telling you what the rules are. And so the show goes off the air, and like we're talking about the episode last night, and it's like, where is this going? Like, these baby faces are acting really weird. Like, what a weird thing. Like, we're poor, and we're not going to pay the fine, even though those were the rules. And what did I say at the end of the show? I go, maybe we'll just never see him again. And that's how they wrote him out of the territory. And apparently someone on the board said, that is actually the end of the Pretty Young Things. Like, that's how they get written out. They're too poor to pay the fine, and so, like, they're out of here. So anyway, the point is, that ending with Tony D, where he's in the diner and he looks up and the screen goes blank, like, they can't bring him back. He's dead.
My hope is that it's Nick Aldis or Adam Pearce with a contract
Could also
for
be.
him, and that's what the shadow is.
But we can never find out what happened to the character Tony D. Otherwise, it ain't the ending of The Sopranos. You have to always guess, what happened to that guy? Did he get whacked? All right. I actually thought the show was pretty good. We had Jada Parker and Jasmine Nix. Apparently, with no angle, Jada Parker is now just a babyface, which I'm not going to complain about.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty
because
sure.
I am not sure based on watching what went on later on.
Well, I thought the same thing, but then after, her and the other heel bailed, she did shove,
After hugging her.
Well, yeah. I think Jada's now a babyface.
Okay. What about Kalani? What is she?
We'll get to her.
Okay.
So
Are you going to skip over? Are you going to skip over the
hold
most
on.
important part of this match?
When the fans chanted, "Thank you, Jesus."
They were so excited. They were so excited by this matchup that as it starts, they just start chanting, "Thank you, Jesus."
I actually
What
don't
a bunch
think
of gooners.
I've ever heard a crowd chant "Thank you, Jesus" because two particular women were put in the ring together. But that is what happened. I confirmed it with my ears. So Jada won with the running hip attack.
I used my eyes.
Javon's wandering around, and he's got to go take care of business, so he goes to the ring after what Undertaker told him. And he says he's going to call out the big dog. And out comes Trick. And Trick does this big promo, and he's putting himself over, and Javon then goes, "Hey, well, actually, you got chokeslammed by Undertaker last week." And Trick goes, "Well, you're right, but I'm still the champion. I'm still the biggest thing here." And Javon says, "Well, honestly, I wasn't even talking about you in the first place. I was talking about Obafemi." And so High Rise ends up coming out. And we have this big brawl. All the heels beat up Javon. And it sets up a match for later. We had Charlie Dempsey, Tavion Heights, which Bully Ray set up the exact same steps in the exact same match with the exact same guys.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Is the No Quarter Catch Crew somehow under the official auspices of Aces and Eights? Is like, are they a chapter
I
or
don't
something?
have any idea. I don't have any idea. But I do know there's almost nothing left of them because Tavion won clean with a belly-to-belly. He is out of the No Quarter Catch Crew. And now it's just Charlie and Ren.
Who has encouraged everyone else to leave.
Yeah. She knows.
Ren has been in their corner. She actually, at one point, she was looking for something to throw the towel in.
Well, that was the
she was
finish of the
willing to
last
throw
match.
the towel in again.
Yeah. I actually thought she might throw the towel in when Charlie was in a submission, but they didn't do that. We had a Blake Monroe promo, which was hilarious because she starts chastising Booker for screwing up her name. And as she's threatening him, he's just like gushing over her. You can't even hear her promo because he won't shut up. So,
oh yeah.
This was when she made fun of Jordan. This, by the way, is the same Blake that was in AEW where it's not about put over your opponent and then say you'll beat him. It's like just bury him 6 feet under in every conceivable way. Say nothing good about them at all. And Lola Vice interrupts, calls her ugly inside.
Lola
Jada
Vice was a
comes
baby
out.
face.
Lola Vice is a baby face. And then Jada comes out.
interrupts the babyface.
Followed by, and this was totally weird, I thought Kalani was a babyface, but they hit Jordan's music, and Kalani comes out instead, which is a heel move. But then she attacks Blake, and then a brawl breaks out, and Kalani and Lola end up in the ring, so I presume they're baby faces. Jada and Blake end up outside, but then Jake shoves down Blake. Or Jada. Oh, my God, I'm lost.
Yeah, Jada shoves down Blake. And then Lash Legend
Oh, yeah, Lash.
came out. Lash Legend came out, which led to her having a match against Fallon Henley, in which Fallon Henley scored the upset because, of all people, my queen, Nia Jax, came out.
Nia Jax did come
laid
in.
waste to Lash Legend. Crowd was going crazy.
This Nia Jax thing, by the way, it's like, did she arrive like 3 minutes before her segment, and then her flight back left 10 minutes later? Everything she did was so rushed, especially her outside promo. She couldn't have cut it any faster. She cut it faster than when Excalibur used to run down those matches at the end of Dynamite. Then we had Javon and Wes Lee, which, I don't know, man.
Holy smokes,
I mean,
brother.
the match was freaking great, but it's
This
like...
Javon Evans, holy crap. I'm watching this match. Brian, I wrestled this guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And I'm watching him, and I am amazed by how fantastic he is. Just what a comeback leading to the finish.
He's incredible, but I did get annoyed when he does a flipping coast-to-coast dropkick and a giant frog splash, and Wes kicks out, and then Wes has the pin, but as he hooks the leg, he pulls too hard, and Javon's foot ends up on the rope. It's like, if you're going to push Javon, just like push him, dude. Why do we half push him? Why are we protecting Wes Lee in this match, who literally has not won a singles match since May? Like, just let this guy go nuts! But they did get a standing ovation afterwards. It was awesome. But, you know, it's okay to push somebody sometimes and just, like, push them, you know? Anyway. We got an NXT Focus segment with Miles, which was quite good.
Strap the rocket on him.
Yeah.
As
I've been
Triple H
saying
would
that
say.
for, like, 8 months! God! And then the main event was Ethan Page and Santino for the North American title. This frickin' Santino was great in this match. He's only had 3 singles matches this whole year. And, like, I thought he was so good in this match. Ended up with Ethan thumbing him in the eye behind the ref's back, twist of fate, getting the pin. 1,000 times better than I expected. And then the show ended with Tony D getting offed. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful.
I am going to channel the well-known, infamous roast of Bryan and Lance.
Oh, my God.
I vaguely remember this.
Lance was a champion in virtually every company he has appeared in. While he did hold the distinction of holding 3 titles, that angle fizzled out faster than his podcast, Killing the Town.
Wow. I now remember this utter disaster of a roast.
Let's get Lance a chair to sit in. And as we do, could we also bring someone up here to show him how to use it? I remember that chair shot.
I
don't remember who it was
the
on, but
utter
I remember
silence that this roast was met with.
Tom, at least I was smart enough not to do those chair shots again.
Brian, besides me, there are others who I'm sure dislike you, like Vince Russo, Eric Bischoff, but I think you're great, like a guiding light or a father, which is why I'm not surprised when you screw me every week. The best-selling author of The Death of WCW. He had just completed his new book, for which actually Lance Storm wrote the foreword, which is 3 more than most wrestling fans know.
Hideous. Atrocious.
It must be hard when you look so young. If I didn't know better, I'd say you had your grandma's jeans. But actually, if the camera panned down, I bet Lance is wearing them. Anyways, let's start the show. Carmelo went for the La Mystica. Andrade went for the Message.
It's actually
And it
not the
ended-
La Mystica. It starts like a La Mystica, but the La Mystica is actually a submission, and he doesn't land in the submission. He just does the whole slam part and then jumps up.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Okay.
La Mystica
Oh, whoa,
is
whoa,
a
whoa.
tilt-a-whirl head scissor into a Fujiwara armbar.
Into a Fujiwara
Yes.
armbar. The La Mystica is not the submission. Do not tell me.
I didn't say that was a
That-
submission. I said the La Mystica involves the tilt-a-whirl facebuster into the submission. The whole thing. Why are you so angry?
Well, you just
Because
changed
it's
what
not
you
what
said
you
live,
said.
right?
Yeah.
No,
that's
he doesn't
why.
land in a submission. He just slams them. So it's not a La Mystica.
I believe that's the actual move.
Okay,
but
whatever. Who
Yeah.
cares?
I just hope editor Sean pulls up the exact clip of you saying La Mystica's a submission and then denying it afterwards.
La Mystica is actually a submission. I didn't say that was a
That-
submission.
The Mystic is actually a submission. I didn't say that was a submission.
Editor Sean.
All right, two quick notes. I heard Ernesto Ocampo reported that WWE officially takes over AAA on August 1st.
I heard that as well.
Excellent. Well, that must be true then. Also, I should mention today is Wednesday, which means After Dark Radio at 2 Pacific, 5 Eastern. And our guest today will actually be a professional wrestler, Brady Roberts, Boom Pro Wrestling. Some of you might remember he was trained by Lance Storm, and when they did that reality show, he was the guy that had the spice diet. He's wrestled Abe Lincoln, and he's going to be on After Dark. We might talk a little bit of wrestling stuff, but we're going to be talking Denver Airport Conspiracies. Yes. So that's going to be at 2 Pacific, 5 Eastern today. However you are listening to this show, you can listen to After Dark Radio. Sports Byline Broadcasting, TuneIn Radio, f4wonline.com/YouTube, and twitch.tv/f4w video. So join us for that show in an hour today, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And when are you back, Tom? What's the plan?
I don't know. You tell me, boss.
You want to do tomorrow? I don't want to overwork you.
No, actually.
Okay. Well, he'll be next week then. And Lance is going to be on Friday, and we'll talk about all sorts of stuff there. So, yeah, we got a lot coming on, everybody. So that's that. Check it out, and we'll be back next time, Wrestling Observer Live.